It is extremism. And North Carolina, my friends, is a state battle, but it has national implications. And I want to suggest to you we must change our language. We keep saying a national movement, but the nation doesn't change nationally. It changed from Montgomery up, from Selma up, from Greensboro up. So your state is a national battleground. Our governor, our General Assembly, backed by Coke money and America for Prosperity and ALEC, intoxicated by this tea from the Tea Party. When they saw our state moving forward, Dr. Wright, they rigged the election through racial gerrymandering, redistricting. They won a supermajority. And in the first 100 days of their election in 2013, they cut 500,000 people from Medicaid expansion. I didn't say black people, because extremism is not, it doesn't just hurt black folk. 500,000 people from Medicaid expansions, 170,000 people's unemployment they took. They took 900,000 people's earned income tax that we had won so that they could give a tax break to 23 of the wealthiest families. And by the way, earned income tax credit was supported by Ronald Reagan. So anytime you can make Ronald Reagan look like a liberal, you are quite extreme. They passed a voter suppression bill that the right wants to be a template for the rest of the nation. Ending same-day registration, Sunday voting, early voting, not allowing 16 and 17-year-olds to pre-register, plus a voter ID policy that's worse than Alabama and South Carolina. And it's the worst voter suppression bill we've seen anywhere in the country since Jim Crow. Extremism. And then they brought voodoo economics into our taxes and changed the tax code by raising taxes on 89% of North Carolina in order to give 10% a tax break. And I stop by to just say to you that you can't fight this kind of extremism with the limited language and methodology of Democrat versus Republican. It won't work. You can't fight this kind of extremism by merely talking about liberal and conservative. There must be moral dissent rooted in the deepest values of our faith. What doth the Lord require? Then there must be constitutional dissent rooted in the deepest values of our Constitution, and reminding this nation that the first principle of the Constitution, even when it was a flawed document before the 13th and 14th and 15th Amendments had been written, but even in a flawed document, the first principle was the establishment of justice.